Excellent. As
So,
pride in their
is there any specific topic that you wish to discuss, or should I choose from our
You can choose from or nice of randomly generated topics. No, not really randomly generated, of course. But yeah, you pick something that you want to zero in on. Hopefully something that has already been part of this little playthrough so far. Although.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit then about this idea about rulership as a core part of civilization, and this notion of the state as eternal. So before the existence of state, we were just wandering aimlessly around the land, and then we managed to settle in a land and construct a state. And without a state, there is no actual civilization. That also ties in a little bit with this Hobbesian idea about the state.
Yes, it's interesting, right? Because this is actually a very, very Hobbesian, so the philosopher Hobbes, approach to how a state works, or how a civilization works. The idea that you need to have one strong man or woman, in the case of civilization game, at its head to make it a successful one that has complete authority over all choices. Of course, from a single game perspective, this is kind of what you have to do, right? Because you are in fact in control of this civilization. On the other hand, I did see recently, I think was an article on Kotaku.com, that there's now people that are more or less in a stream like this one, are playing Civilization as a democracy. So they are in fact voting on all the different choices that have to be made in the game, which is an interesting concept, I would say. But yes, I think that this is a very strong perspective that this game takes, is that you need this one leader at the helm, and that the leaders are basically what shape the destinies of civilization. And you know what? There's something to be said for that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
I mean, on
the other hand, little Humbaba is also going to be shaping our civilization right now, because we're going to be building another quarry. So, thank you, Humbaba, for what you're about to do.
Excellent. This stone we extract from.
This will allow me, as the supreme leader of the Sumerians, to enjoy myself a bit of stonework from the quarry that you just constructed. All right, and Utanapishti is hanging out in his own little tropical paradise. It didn't.
Yeah, this looks nice.
I think I wanna move more to the west. So we're actually going to be moving back to the southwest again, and let's see if we can run into some other people. Let's go here. All right. How would you do it differently, Ares? Kine? Are you still here, Kine?
Yep.
All right.
Still here.
Have you any thoughts on the player as dictator and the leader as dictator in Civilization?
With our quarry now complete.
In terms of game mechanics, you mean?
Or philosophical stances on this. We know that Ares is a stanch anarchist, and he would rather not have us lead our civilization at all. But maybe you have a different opinion on the matter.
No, in real life this is different, of course. But when I play a game, I really like to build my own empires, and this is just what I like about these types of games. So, yeah. But I mean, maybe there can be options like, I don't know, that you can have a random uprising or something, and that you have to sort of respond to that or whatever. I don't know.
Well, you do have uprisings.
Yeah, but they're not random.
Game changing and random in that sense.
Yeah, it's interestingly enough that in earlier Civilization games, uprisings and unhappiness of your people, if you were leading them in ways that they didn't like, was much more prominent. Here they've really... Sorry, yeah?
I'm not even only talking about uprisings as in or unhappiness, but maybe other systems instead of...
What would be another system than unhappiness?
Communism?
Yeah, sure, but is actually communism is actually in the game. Well, it isn't called this way anymore. Hey, you know what? You can probably
It is called
yes.
communism.
Yay! It is called communism
Oh yeah,
still.
awesome.
There
Oh,
we
yeah?
are. Yeah, for sure. Well, is it still? Because let's
Yeah,
look
but
at
It is, it is.
it's not a game mechanic.
no, it is
No,
It
it's
is,
not a game mechanic.
it is a way that we can lead our civilization. Well, we can actually not have a
Yeah,
look at that just yet.
You can't see it yet because you don't have a government yet.
I don't have a government yet, but this is actually, let's talk a little bit about the difference as well, because this will probably feed into your notion of communism as well. Earlier civilization games only had technologies, and you only had a technology tree or a tech tree, which I think is a very, and here you can see the entirety of the tech tree, and this tech tree always starts out at the dawn of civilization, and then, as you can see here, all these little technologies, they connect to each other in certain ways. Well, not all of them connect to, so you can see here that irrigation is sort of a dead end point, doesn't lead to any other technologies that you can do, but we're working right now on pottery, and pottery is going to lead us, or going to allow us to then later research writing and irrigation. Not entirely sure how pottery and writing sort of...
I'm aware of the workings of tech trees.
You are. That is good, sir. Well, maybe some of the people that are watching our video are not. Anyway, the tech tree in the end, ends up all the way at recent scientific breakthroughs like nuclear fission, or synthetic materials, composites, so composite materials, lasers. Oh, I love a game. Every game needs lasers.
Yeah.
And later, all the way at the end, we have robotics, nanotechnology. This is actually, in many ways, nanotechnology is a near future scientific breakthrough. There's some nanotechnology already available, but it's not anywhere on a societal scale important yet. Same goes for robotics, of course, actually. And then the eponymously named future tech. This basically means
are available on a very grand scale, but
not like this little man that's just running around and is basically, we don't have robot slaves just yet.
Not AI related or whatever.
No, exactly. But then they have basically you have the civilization designer saying, we run out of ideas of what would happen in the near future or even the medium future, and we just call it future tech. So that's the civilization. That's the science tree for you, the technology tree for you. Then in this civilization, so civilization 6, they actually split up what used to be one tree into two ones, and this actually includes civics, which are, I guess, societal breakthroughs. For example, the very first civic that we have been working on so far is a code of laws, which is I guess one of the first things that you would need if you want to start living together, right? Especially
but there was also something like this in 5, right? If I remember correctly.
There were not so much a civics tree in there. There was social policies that you could enact.
Oh yeah.
Among which there were communist-like social policies, and that's still in there as well. Actually, as you will see in a little while, as soon as we have researched our first civics. And this ends up all the way at the epitome of our current civic breakthroughs: globalization and social media. At the end
social media, the epitome of what we achieved so far.
That is at the end of the game. Just as you can keep on researching future techs 1 till 10,000 if you continue for long enough, or ad infinitum, you can in fact keep on cycling, looking at globalization and social media at the end of the game. So you can do
social media is the end of history.
Social media is the end of history, which is another very philosophical point that we're not going to be going too much into, but I think I can get on board with that. Social media and the success of certain persons that shall not be named in this particular stream on social media may very well lead not only to the end of history, but to the end of the world, if this particular person is going to push a red button anytime soon. You probably know who I'm talking about. All right. No, it's not Aris. It's Mr. Trump I'm talking about.
Okay.
All right.
American counterpart.
Oh, that is true. And hey, here we go. We have our little what was his name again? Humbaba, hanging out here, having just produced a quarry for us, and he still needs some orders. What shall we do?
Yeah.
Shall we
Let's build a farm.
Let's not build another farm. All right, let's do that. Let's go over here. Next, I guess a nice farm with views of the mountain and the river. Let's go over there. All right, that's gonna happen next turn. Humbaba is a bit tired now. Oh, Humbaba is all by himself. He started out with 3 people, I think. Now he's just there. All right. Wait, probably that means that yes, I think I can actually give some orders to our very other good friend Dumuzi. What shall we do with Dumuzi?
Let's send him to scout.
All right.
Well, the goals clearly stated.
Is it a warrior?
Yeah.
Alright, so Blitzkrieg to the east.
You know what? The goals state that we have to keep the warrior inside the city. What? I'm just gonna be a little bit naughty. Oh, they don't allow us. They don't allow us to. Look at that. It's like nope. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, poor Dumuzi. You seem to be grounded.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, the tutorial is, although it's very helpful because we can go through each theme like in a very organized way without having to, because they actually make a lot of statements through the advisor. In terms of gameplay, it makes it really hard. And I don't know if for a very new player this is actually very helpful.
I wonder as well. I mean, for me it's kind of hard. I feel very constricted by it. At the same time, it is nice to look at how the game sort of wears its design and historical perspective on its sleeve in the tutorial. So I think that's kind of interesting. I guess what they want us to do actually with little Umbaba is they want us to be moving towards the coffee. It is coffee actually, so it is not cacao, it is coffee. Square up here and start to develop that because as we all know, coffee makes people happy. All right. Let's just do that now because let's just keep him around for that. And here we've got oh my god, I forgot the name. I need to write these names down. I'm just going to do that right now because otherwise I'll just lose the chat. So we got Utanapishti. We've got Humbaba the worker.
And Dumuzi the warriors.
And Dumuzi the warrior.
And of course, Utanapisti's dog.
Greg. and dog Greg.
Let's not forget about it.
No, let's not forget about that for sure. All right. Oh my goodness, we seem to be sort of hemmed in by lots of sea over here. Shall we move to the south? Like a bunch of geese. Oh, looky here. There's another village of hapless tribals just waiting to become part of our great civilization. That's gonna happen next turn.
Just wait to be civilized.
Just waiting to be civilized. Look at them and their little huts. All right, let's do this civilization thing next turn.
Yeah, let's civilize them a bit.
Truly thrive under your guidance.
Oh.
They truly thrive.
I know.
So too must our leadership.
Thank you, advisor. That's really great, actually. I think that I'm also a great leader, and that's why I think you should also, aside from making me head of the civilization, you should make me the head of a big research lab somewhere. Maybe give me a nice, cozy professorial job. I can do that. I think I can do that. So yeah, no.
If you can manage a civilization, I mean, you can.
I can most certainly manage a couple of unruly PhDs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. He says.
He liked the joke.
Oh, that's good, kind.
With a slight delay.
All right. All right. Let's. I'm kind of losing the chat here. Let's see. And our policies to better steer the growth of our people. Yes, because everybody knows that what you need if you want to grow a society and grow your economy, you need more policies, right? It seems almost like the EU is in charge of the government part of this.
Which is not going too well, so...
No. In general, we can say that many people back in Europe are not really in favor of more policies. Alright, many types of governments in Civilization 6, that's true. Right now, we are still a nice little chiefdom. At the moment, I'm Chief Gilgamesh, Dr. Random, Angus Mole. But
which is a very, very bad... this is actually weirdly wrong, and
very wrong.
I think they should have, in terms of naming, they should have done something like kingship. Because chiefdom does not imply cities at all in any level.
If you want to take a cultural evolutionary view to it, yes, true. But that's also kind of outmoded thinking, Aris. Because if you want to go with cities, the idea of cities in the Amazon, or large conglomerations of people in the Amazon, for example, before the coming of the Europeans, they were probably chiefdom-ish kind of oriented, or they were at least like not really like state organized, but they were chiefdom organized. But there were still some relatively large residential spaces there. Same thing would go if you accept the idea that Çatalhöyük is an urban space. It has famously been argued to be very heterarchical and not hierarchically oriented at all.
Yeah, but that is a very, like, stating that Çatalhöyük is an actual urban space is a very provocative statement to make and really hard to back it up. So then it kind of lies within the definition of the city, of course. And I think the way that the game approaches cities, so in a very, like, city is a very explicit thing within the game. Yeah. Right, and I think we can extrapolate a very specific definition for what civilization cities are, and in that space, chiefdom is really misleading, and it really doesn't work.
Yeah.
If we want to talk about generally large residential areas and functions, then sure, but within the game, the fact that you start as a chiefdom, I think is really inconsistent with the approach that the game takes.
If I remember correctly, from what it was called in at least the earliest Civilization games, you first were not called a chiefdom at all. You were called an autocracy. So you were basically, it was pointed to the fact that as a leader you were the sole person making decisions. So an autocrat. I think that's maybe even a better term for it, even with the type of design that we have got going on here. So I would still, I would agree with you that chiefdom is a very wrong term to refer to what we actually are.
Is the heart of any army, and is a valuable advantage over
I think kingship would be probably.
Rabble.
Yeah, but monarchy was its own little thing.
Yes, but the thing is that the rulers of those cities are
kings.
We call them kings.
Yes, true.
Right. So.
True, but that's that's going into the definition of what a kingship is, what a monarchy is. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I like that this advisor is. I think maybe she once had an ex that was a barbarian, and she has some chip on her shoulder still. She really wants me to just take down these barbarian people, the barbarian rebel they call them. Anyway,
this is poor phrasing, right?
It is.
I mean.
It is.
Barbarian rabble is extremely poor phrasing from the part of the game and the designers.
I think so. It is.
They really take a very.
It is. They're literally setting up a straw man here. These poor barbarians coming over here, raiding our cities.
Which at the end of the day, they're not such a big problem because
no,
they can never
not at all.
amass like large armies.
No, they're depending on what difficulty setting you play at, though. But
sure, but
sometimes if you're really unlucky, you actually you find your whole game that you're fighting barbarians instead of focusing on other things. But generally saying, I'm not really that worried about it. All right, we can actually enact a policy. Does it actually allow us to choose?
Choose, yeah. It allows
No. Oh
this
my!
tutorial.
I'm paralyzed by this decision, Alice. So we have the idea of going for. Are you still there? I thought I heard.
I am there. I don't know if Krain is there. No, Krain.
Dropped out of the
He
call.
will, yeah,
Is he? Is that by his own volition?
I don't know.
All right. Maybe you call him back later. But
Yes, he can join back.
he can join back. That's true, actually. So here we've got surveying, discipline, urban planning, and God King.
Yeah.
You know what?
See, it already says that you are a king.
That's true. And you know what? It also says that I'm a frigging God King.
Yeah.
I think normally I would be going with something. Discipline is kind of a very important, very nice little thing if you are sure you're going to go up against barbarians because you
Yeah.
get more combat strength.
Yeah, but I like
you know
to
what?
take up the survey because I make usually quite like 2 scout units and then I leave it on the survey to level
Yes,
them up.
to level them up. That is true. That's also what I normally do when I know that I'm not going to go toe to toe with barbarians, or if I know that I'm going to be doing some like hard work. I'm gonna go for urban planning because that's even that little resource in the beginning can help you out quite a bit. But keeping in theme in the theme of the tutorial, we kind of have to go with God King, right?
Yeah, in the theme of Gilgamesh as well, I think
Yeah.
going for God King is more
Yes.
flavorful.
And then I guess we can also choose one more. So who do we like more? Do we like our little, oh my god, these names are that you made me remember, Utanapishti and his dog Greg more, or do we like Dumuzi more?
I think we should go for Utanapisti and the dog
Alright,
Greg.
exactly, we're gonna go for Utanapishti and the dog Greg. Now, we're confirming the policies. Hooray!
I think Krain is back. Yeah,
Hello,
is back.
Krain. I knew you were missing us already, I know.
Though
You-
our policies
I am-
begin to bear fruit,
Oh, that's nice.
our civilization will only
We must plan for the future. I'm a God King now, Krain. So if you like, you can refer to me as such for the coming time. Yeah,
Oh, but I already do this, so I didn't miss anything.
that's true. Well, and we boosted our friend Utanapishti a little bit. All right, we have unlocked the Code of Laws Civics, and that enables us to establish our first government. That's sweet. We need to select a new civic to advance towards. So just like sciences, like technologies, we can choose a new civic. We can, similar to the technology tree, well, they have not even introduced the technology tree, but whatever. And it wants
Yeah.
us to focus on craftsmanship. Yeah, actually, that would be a good choice at this point in time because there's not really much for foreigners that we've met anyway. So we'll go for craftsmanship. Sure thing. We're gonna close the tree and we're gonna now be doing. We're just gonna party it up in this little village over here. Hello, people. Are you ready to meet civilization? Haha! All right.
What's gold?
Oh, I got
available.
golds, and joyous occasion. Utanapishti is gonna level up. All right. This is actually something that I think they introduced last civilization. I mean,
Yeah.
units could always become veterans at a certain point, making them stronger at fighting. But
Yeah.
like an actually leveling up system for units, like as if they were little RPG units, that's kind of new. All right, now if you just look around a little bit, we're gonna be moving
You
through.
go ahead. I will be back in just a second.
All right.
So you can
I think
explain
we're gonna
the
be-
mechanic meanwhile.
Yeah, I think we're going to be moving on quite a bit of hills, so I think that's what I'm going to be choosing for. All right, Utanapishti and his dog Greg feel much more powerful right now, and that's lovely. Okay, let's wait a little bit. I'm just gonna put this little Humbaba. He deserves his rest. Well, he apparently doesn't deserve his rest. I want to put him into sleep mode, but the game doesn't allow me to do that. Alright, then we're just gonna... Or the tutorial doesn't allow me to do that. Then we're just gonna move around a little bit. Maybe build a farm next turn. Alright, all the while we are progressing through the 5th millennium before Common Era. We are now in 3220 BC.
Truly, they shall now be inspired to push even further into the lands beyond.
And I've built my first monument. It only took us 780 years to build our first monument. That's sweet. So as you can see right now,
we are now ready to spread our civilization.
perhaps we are. That means we're going to be building a settler. We're going to be spreading some civilization by erecting another city somewhere else.
These brave settlers are ready to carry our culture into the unknown. However, it will take some time before they are prepared for the journey that awaits them.
They're once again they're brave settlers, Krijn. I guess that's just an inherent property of
Okay, I am back.
of settlers. We're building a bunch of brave settlers. Yes, because of course we cannot be content to just hang around in Uruk. We also have to grab other parts of the world. All the while, Uruk has grown to a population of 300,000, and look at this little phallic symbol over here. It's our first monument. Interestingly enough, what type of monument is this, Alice?
This is an obelisk.
Yes.
Which is quite weird, because I don't think we had obelisks at that point.
I don't think so. An obelisk is more or less an Egyptian invention, right?
I'm not sure if it is actually an Egyptian invention.
I always thought that was like. Well, we should have Michael John Precise in
it's
here.
probably an Egyptian invention, though.
Let's put it like this. It's like a symbol of Egyptian culture for sure.
Yeah, but we do have them in front of like burial monuments of pharaohs and stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. So even though we haven't met the Egyptians, we've already copied their obelisk design. That's kind of cool. I think we have to say this is the moment where we're going to be saying goodbye to Humbaba. Because because the game doesn't want me to just hang around with the worker for too long, and allows me to build like a plantation over here. So I guess we're just going to be building a farm over here. So thank you, Humbaba, for your hard work through the ages. It's been fun. See you on the flip side.
I'm off as well as Humbaba, guys.
All right, thank you, Krijn Humbaba.
Thank you very much, and enjoy the show.
All right, we will.